To our top story tonight to understand how the rural northwest community of Coligny has received the decision to reverse the convictions in the murder of Matlhomola Moshoeu. We are now joined by Stanny Monyakama, a school principal from the area. And Monyakama, thank you so much for your time tonight. What is your reaction to the ruling by the Supreme Court of Appeal?
Good evening, listeners and everybody in South Africa. Look, what is our reaction to this? This thing is very painful. Painful to the latter. Painful in the sense that, we ask ourselves, but it did show from the word go that our government was not hands-on, fully from the word go. I mean, you cannot, at all points, take a person to go to court and contest with fairness and take just an ordinary prosecutor. I'm saying ordinary because the prosecutor who was there was the best, Advocate Monyakama. But what happened now? We were told when it was done through Skype, no. The person who is representing this case in the appeal court was not doing the best. But what shall you say? Blacks' lives in South Africa don't matter. The NPA is failing us. The question is, what are they going to do from now on this case? Is it how blacks will die? An ordinary man, young boy, died in the hands of two guys. And today they are scot-free. But what do we do? What do we say? We are a poor community in Coligny, a rural town, which is not noticed. The government doesn't know anything about it. Nobody, even the president, doesn't know about this place. Nobody cares. Even the ministers don't care. Because if they cared, they would have seen that they would take two or one best advocate who will go and represent this case in appeal court. Not just a novice or a nobody and say, go and represent this against criminals. No. You know, money talks in South Africa. Sometimes you ask yourself, was not money involved here? Why should such a thing happen? Because if they were strong and prepared this case, it was a very good case based on Rex and Advocate Monyakama and the people who were doing investigation. And all evidence was shown. Something here is just not right. But what do we say?
Ntate Monyakama, part of what was said today was that the NPA had ignored some telephone records here that were crucial when it comes to this particular matter. And you're saying, Advocate Molefe was the best for you, and he made sure that he gets that conviction that he then got in that lower court. What are some of the things that you were told about this particular one that was now handling your case? Because you're saying, you were told that he's struggling, he's not the best. What were some of the specific things you were told?
Don't misquote me. Listen, don't misquote me. I'm saying Advocate Molefe was the best.
No, I mean the one that had gone to the SCA, the one only.
No.
Yes.
No, we were told that people, when we were listening, people who were listening to it, they said, no, this case was not well represented. People were sure. Even some words were cocksure that, no, this case, we have won this case. I mean, against criminals. You do your best if you are very serious about racism. So nobody cares about racism. It will happen. People will take laws into their own hands. What I'm saying to you is the truth, is the Bible truth, that you plan well for a case like this one. But what we do? That boy simply means he killed himself. Or he was one of those people who usually are called that I thought was a baboon. I killed a baboon. Or this was not a human being. Because this is where a life was involved. What do we do? How do we do it? How do we represent such community? But what do we say?
that, we continue our conversation here with Ntate Stanny Monyakama, who's a school principal from Coligny. We also joined on the line by Matlhomola Moshoeu's father, Ntate Saki Dingake. Ntate Dingake, if nka qala ka wena as re khutla from go breaking, wena o ikutlwa jwang because court intshitse decision today, and certainly something ailing gore Ntate Stanny Monyakama o re ha ya mo tshwara gantle and le community ha ya tshwarega gantle ka ntho e tsagetseng. Wena o ikutlwa jang as Ntate wa Matlhomola tonight?
Le nna tota la ha ya ntshwara sentle re lelela ka mona ra go dula ka kutlo botlhoko ya go na ntho e ka skinye fo le mogorona ya no potso e ke botsang go gore rona batho bantsho tronko e tshwanetse rona batho ba so e bone ha ya ba tshwanela ame go lofa go dira ka tšhelete kapa go dira ka ke ka gore nna ga ke na tšhelete bone ba na le tšhelete so nna kutlile botlhoko thata fela kutlile botlhoko ke le rago ngwana le bonna ka ba gagwe bo buti ba gagwe le bonna ka ba gagwe bo utlwile botlhoko re le lelapa botlhoko bo ke bo kry-ileng ga se ba mang le mang kore ngwana a na latlhilwe go ya ka a na latlhilwe ngwana yaanong ha khoto e re ha e ba bone molato e be ba raya ngwana e na le kae ka gore ngwana ene o tlhokafetse khoto ya re ha e ba bone molato e sa ba bone ya molato ka gore ngwana ene motho o ne ba mo pegile ge mo koloi o kae.
And Papa, so for now, I'm just going to translate for the viewers who could not understand what Ntate Saki Dingake was saying. Part of what he's saying is that he's not okay with the SCA's ruling, and he says that this is a wound that is certainly not going to heal. And he even asked a very painful question, and he says that, when he looks at the situation, he is now thinking whether or not black people are the ones that are suited for prison and white people. As we were still in conversation with Matlhomola Moshoeu's father, Saki Dingake, and Stanny Monyakama, who's a school principal in that particular area of Coligny, what Ntate Dingake had said to us just before we went for a break, he was basically saying that they're not okay as a family about the Supreme Court of Appeals decision, and saying that this is a wound that is not going to heal. And he even says that, when he looks at the situation, he can see that black people are, appear to be suited for prison, while white people do not appear to be suited for prison. And he says that Matlhomola's siblings are quite, indeed hurting about this particular decision. And he says that the child was dumped, and you can see that Matlhomola is no longer here to even explain what happened. And he says that if the court is saying they are not guilty, then where is his son? What happened to his son? And he wants to understand and to know exactly what happened to his son. And Ntate Dingake, for you, o thotse jwang gore court e sentse e entse ruling e tshwana le e?
Ke utlwile no fela yana mo ditabeng.
And le yona ntho e go tshwere jang gore o utlwa ka ditaba o ska utlwa ka even batho ba tshwantseng gore ne ba na le wena batho ba tshwanang le NPA gore ba o tlhalosetse gore go tsagetseng gantle.
Ha gona ope wa NPA ya kileng a tla mo go rona. Ene lone ya khoto gampione ki utlwa hela mo ditabeng go ra gore ne ke sa itse sep nna.
And what
go ra gore so se ne sa go tsamaela
o ka tswela pele papa o ka tswela pele
rona re sa itse sepe go ra gore so ene go nnaela ina go nna duo tsa smoke down go gore ba buela ko hela rona re sa itse sepirele le lapa mona
And what Ntate
tota
Dingake
fela
saying
hela
Okay, Papa, okay. What Ntate Dingake is saying there is that they were not aware of the Supreme Court of Appeal's decision, and he says that no one has come to brief them about what has now happened, or even, come to the family to talk to them about this particular matter. And if I can bring you back in, Ntate Monyakama, into this conversation, for you, when you look at this particular case and how things have turned out, as you were saying earlier on, Khori, this was a matter that was supposed to have been taken seriously, and as a community you are not happy about what has happened. But one thing you said, Ntate Monyakama, just a short while ago, you were saying, Khori, this is just yet one of those cases that happen in that area. Since Matlhomola, have you guys experienced any such similar incidents as the community of Coligny?
I could tell you in Coligny there are individual whites, I've said it in the past, who are still very racist. But I just want to point out something. The NPA, the SAPs, when the appeal was happening, we were never informed as a community. Even that today there will be a judgment, we were not informed. We were not taken on board anyway. We were left totally out. The last time we get a good representation, it was in the High Court in Mabat. Judge Hendricks and Advocate Molefe. From then, nobody came to us. But let me say before I go any further, I asked myself, if this was the Minister of Justice's son, what would he have done? If this was the son to the president, what would he have done? If this was the son to very Khenel, what would have happened? What you have done. I asked these guys, because this pain, I know they are not feeling it. It doesn't bother them. But I'm saying, on honest basis, what would this have meant? This thing was a pain to us, but I'm still saying, we can't go there and incite the community and so let's go back and fight. But the question that I'm asking, I think the people that I've mentioned who are in government should stand up and tell us what next. You see, why people are starting to understand EFF better is when things of this nature happen. I'm not trying to incite people. I'm asking myself, if people in government in the ANC cannot represent these communities well, and then when EFF goes on the street and starts fighting racism, the very same people in government that say EFF is wrong. I'm not saying people should fight, but I'm saying let them use the resources they have. That money that is there, it's not their money. It doesn't belong to their family. And they have not inherited that money. They are just supposed to use it, get the best people to represent ordinary people. That family, very poor family. Coligny, very poor town. You can come here. Yeah, but I'm not surprised. They don't even know where Coligny is. They see it in news. They see it on newspapers. They see it only as a town written somewhere there in Northwest. Nobody cares. Even the ones in the province, they have never done anything better. I'm still appreciate how the investigation officer from Poch, together with Hendricks and Advocate Molefe, have done for us. Those are the people who have really represented. We felt that we are worth being called human beings. But from there onwards, in South Africa, everything is bought. I don't want to say prosecutors are bought, but money works here. This is the poorest family, poorest community. But let me tell you, if things like this happen, I only pray one day we don't have more of these cases. People dying.
Ntate Monyakama, I'm going to ask us just to pause there. I'd like to bring back in Ntate Saki Dingake. Ntate Dingake, how sheba fela bophelo ba lona as lelapa la Matlhomola, family ya Matlhomola. Bophelo ba lona bo changitse jwang since ile gore le lositse ngwana wa lona?
ke bo boima ga ise go gore bophelo ba rona ise bo siame ise bo buele mo maemong a ra itse go santse go le bokete gore re ka amogela tiragalo ye.
And what Ntate Dingake is saying there is that it's difficult. It's still quite heavy for them to accept, the death of their son. And certainly you'd remember just how horrific that particular death was. And ke a gopola Ntate Dingake e le gore o no bua after o thola gore ngwana gago o tlhokofetse. Ntho engwe o ileng wa bua e leng gore e touchitse batho ba bangata gore o itse ha o mmona ngwana wa mothola ana le di-stitch tse ngata mo mmeleng wa hae. Yaanong ha o checka gona yaanong gore go tsagetseng gore o ka se tsebe gore o bolailwe ke mang gona yaanong because batho ba ileng gore ne ba le accused of this particular case and ile gore ke bona ba convictilweng ba kenywa ko tronkong today ba free. Gona yaanong ha o checka fela wena o bona gore go tsagetseng ka ngwana gago and wena o gopola the way o no mothola a leng ka teng ko mochare o nagana gore ngwana gago ile awa vene e tsamaya the way ba ne ba bolela khoto ka teng.
Nya ha ke bone seo ke bona e le gore ngwana o bolailwe ha bolawa ha wa mo koloing jaaka ba bua ngwana o bolailwe gora gore molao tronko ye ha ne e diriwa ne thaelwa mo go rona ne se a thaelo mo godimo ga mongwe le mongwe nna hanga bola ngwana mongwe hanga bola ngwana le khoa ke a go tseiwa gona nonyana ke iswa go tronko ha ke go ira di apili ke dirang di metlole yotleng.
And what Ntate Dingake Papa kopa o nkemele fela ganyane mo what Ntate Dingake is saying is that his son was killed. He does not believe the version that his son may have jumped out of that moving vehicle, as they had told the court when they had said that they were driving to the police station and saying that he fell out of a moving van. What Ntate Dingake is saying that he did not fall out of a moving vehicle, and he says that if it was him who had been accused of murder, he would have found himself behind bars. And he says that it does not appear that the law is equal for, it does not appear that everybody is equal before the law. And Ntate Dingake, support e leng gore lona la ithola as family, e jwang?
Askis?
Support, li krea support lona as family ya Matlhomola?
Gona nonyana
ke tšho gore fela since a tlhokofetse le krea support le krea batho ba leng gore ba le tsheditse ka nako e so.
No isale agre ka phitlo ka sengwe le sengwe se fela ka go sena ope o tla mo go rona a tla go bua le rona yalo.
And Papa o ka rata gore go tsagale eng?
Feleditse batho ba na ne ke rata gore gape e ka shebisiswa sentle gape.
Okay, Papa, I'm going to leave it there with Ntate Dingake there, but certainly he says that he would like for this matter to really be looked into. That's Matlhomola's father, Saki Dingake, and we were also in conversation with Stanny Monyakama, who's a school principal in Coligny. Thank you so much for your time.